back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call from Miss Cole Scampers. Today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me everyday teacher look. So this is what my face looks like every single day. You guys have requested that I do a video on it, so here we are. It's kind of awkward. It's my first time filming on this nicer camera that I have, so there's just gonna be some moments that are weird, but we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm not gonna waste too much time. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started for you guys. So I'll zoom you in so you can kind of see the situation of my face and my skin. This camera is so nice. Okay, so I have a lot of like discoloration on my face. I have natural dark circles, so these are always there no matter how much sleep I get. And right now I'm dealing with a pimple I popped. So I always start off with some kind of serum. This is just something that I bought from like TJ Maxx. It's probably not like the best thing in the whole wide world, but I figure something is better than nothing. So I just pat that into my face, and I decided I would film this in my bedroom. That way you have natural light coming in from a window. So once that kind of gets into my skin, I will go ahead with some witch hazel. And again, I'll just kind of push that into my skin. The fact that you're so close right now is legitimately killing me, but we're gonna get through it. And then I use my moisturizer. This is just Garnier Skin Active. I think it's called Moisture Bomb. And I put that all over my face. I really like this moisturizer. This is probably the third time I've bought it. It's for combo, normal to combo skin. Oh my gosh. But I'll find a lot of times my skin is oily, but I'll tell you about what I do for that. So number one thing I always go in with is my primer. I do have a couple different primers, but the one that I use on a regular basis is just going to be this Nivea Men Post Shave Balm. I think Nikki Tutorials is the person who kind of introduced this to YouTube, but I just shake it up, get a little bit in my hand, and kind of put that all over my face. And she said that one day she ran out of moisturizer, and so she used this and her makeup stayed on all day and she didn't know what it was. Turns out it's this. It's funny because my husband actually does use this after he shaves, so sometimes he'll just take mine. And this works really nice as, why do I feel like I'm going full on makeup tutorial here? I don't know what I'm doing. But this kind of leaves your skin a little bit tacky, so it's ready to kind of take on the foundation, I guess. For just kind of an everyday foundation, what I pretty much always go to is my Maybelline Fit Me. I do have a couple of different foundations that I kind of rotate through whenever I do my makeup, and it just depends on if I'm in a rush or not, if I have extra time, if I want to look a little bit nicer. But I find that the Fit Me foundation is really nice for just everyday wear. So when I apply my foundation, I use usually just two different methods. One method I use is just using this, I don't know, it's probably called a foundation brush by It Cosmetics. I have this one and another brush that I really like for foundation. And I use my Real Techniques Beauty Blender. Today I'm probably going to use a little bit of both, so I'm just gonna tap on my foundation. Normally I would just kind of dot it all over my face, but I'm putting it on my hand for this because I don't feel like looking crazy. So I'm just gonna buff that into my skin. Where I start with my foundation kind of varies depending on what day it is. Sometimes I'll start in the middle, sometimes I'll start on the edge. Something I used to do for fun is put on makeup and pretend like I was giving makeup tutorials, because I love watching makeup tutorials on YouTube. It's just something I think is really fun and entertaining. So whenever people requested me to put makeup on camera, I was like, well, that sounds fun, but I really don't know how it's gonna turn out, so we will see. Taking more time than I normally do to put this on. And I'm just gonna go with my beauty blender. I usually pick one or the other, but because I'm trying not to look crazy, I'm gonna use both. And I also feel like a beauty blender gets better in your eye area than a brush does. Wow, doing your makeup in front of a window with really good lighting is kind of hard because you want to fix like everything you see on your face. Most of the time I do it in a poorly lit bathroom. I actually just got this new mirror that I'm looking in right now from my mother-in-law. It's one of the mirrors. Hello. That's my tripod right now, but it like lights up. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm using that right now. My nose always itches after I put on makeup. I gotta try to like itch it. This is why I shouldn't do makeup. videos. Okay, next thing, I always keep some kind of washcloth or something wherever I keep my makeup because I use it to wipe off foundation from my lips, from my eyebrows, all that. So my skin in general is kind of dry right now because it's the winter time, but I usually always go in with a chapstick. This is just like, oh, that's upside down, but Burt's Bees Vanilla. I always put on chapstick because, I don't know, I just do. And then I take like the corner and I just like wipe my eyebrows off a little bit. Normally they look a little bit worse than this, but put a little bit too much on. I exfoliated my lips. Maybe I should zoom you guys out. Just, oh, that's in. Zoom me out just a little bit. That might have been too close. Okay. Next thing I use is my Tarte Shape Tape. You can tell I've used it because I'm almost running out, and I use the shade Light. Not sure if you can read that, but that's the shade I use. Right now I'm actually kind of having to like scrape the sides because I need more. But I love this stuff. And I pretty much just go for the like inner area, I guess is what you would call it. This honestly might be a little bit too dark for me right now, this concealer, but I love it because it covers so much. So I am gonna go, oh, it's a little bit dry. I'm gonna cover it anyway. I don't usually have pimples anymore. I used to have really bad acne when I was in like, you know, junior high, even part of high school. I had kind of bad acne, I guess. And now I really don't. So I'm gonna put some on my nose and then under my eyebrow. Most people put concealer under their eyebrow after they like do their eyebrows, but I don't really do a whole lot to my eyebrows, so I just put it on now. I'm gonna blend it out. I just pop on the rest of the concealer that I kind of picked up on my eyelids as a base. I don't know if that's how that works, but it's what I do. And then I just take an older, it's so gross. I take an older beauty blender, and the reason this one looks so like beat up is because I use it for powder. So yeah, that's what I do. I probably shouldn't do that, but I feel like setting my concealer with a beauty blender works a lot better than setting it with a brush because I can kind of push it into the skin more. So that's what I'm gonna do. Tesla, get off my bed. Who does she think she is? And then I'll kind of cover my lid with it just a little bit. Did I say what powder I was using? I don't think so. I am using the Laura Mercier setting powder. The only reason that I have this powder is because I did my own wedding makeup and I used that as an excuse to buy nicer products. So I have this now and it's a problem because I love it. And if I run out, I'm definitely gonna have to buy more. But I got married last September, so this has lasted over a year, so I'm really impressed. Next is my bronzer. For bronzer, I usually just use the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula, and bronzer is something I didn't wear for a really long time. In fact, when I was in high school, I didn't even wear blush. I would go straight like matte face, like pack on the powder and everything, and now I need some dimension to my face, so I put this in the same spots that most people put it, you know, the forehead. Oh my gosh, it looks so different in front of my window. I can't do this. I basically do it on the edges of my face and then like a little bit in here. Not necessarily to contour because I don't know how that works, just to like add a little bit of life. And the brush I'm using, because I forgot that I actually have to tell you these things, is an e.l.f. brush. It's just a basic powder brush that I've actually marked with washi tape because I also use the same brush as a highlighting brush and I want to be able to tell them apart. This is something I do really quick. I don't spend a lot of time on it. If you have a bronzer that you use and love, let me know what it is. I know a lot of people like the Hoola bronzer, I think is what it is. I'm gonna go in with my foundation brush and kind of blend that out just a little bit to make it look like it matches my skin a little bit more. I'm never doing my makeup in front of a window ever again. Now we know. So after bronzer, I normally just go in with blush. I really like this Stila. Okay, that was so weird, but my camera just cut out. I was telling you about my Stila blush. I use it all the time, clearly, and I've already started applying it, but I use my e.l.f. stippling brush to do this, and I just dab a little bit and then kind of put it on like the high point of my cheeks, I guess. I was saying how forgiving this blush was and that I never really thought I could do cream blush. I just always assumed it would be really hard, but I went into, I think, Sephora, and the guy working there really convinced me. So I put on always just a little bit more than I would want, and that's because I go through and I blend the edges back out, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of powder over it. So once again, I'm taking my brush that I did my foundation with, and I'm just blending out the edges of it. And it looks so much better. And again, I'm gonna go with like a light dusting of powder, so it's gonna look even more natural. So the next thing I'm gonna do is set my face with that Laura Mercier setting powder into the cap. And then I take a big fluffy brush from Real Techniques. It looks like this. Just tap. If there's barely anything on here, I'm just kind of spreading it all over so my face is set. And I really like the finish on this powder, which is why if I ran out, I'd probably, back in there, cannot waste you. I'd probably buy more. I am ready for my blush topper. I really like this. You can't tell because I've used it so much, but it's a Milani blush in Luminoso. And this blush I will use on its own, but I do like to top pretty much any blush I use with this Milani blush. It's kind of like a peachier shade, I guess. And you can tell I've actually used it so much you can see where it's wearing down. So again, I'm just taking my stippling brush and just doing a little bit, not a whole lot. And I just feel like this adds a really nice glow. And I don't know, I've always done it. After blush, I usually go in with highlight. So this is literally the e.l.f. Moonlit Pearl highlight. And I've used this for, gosh, I don't know, so freaking long. I have the Becca highlight that I use if I'm trying to look nice, or if I just want an extra highlight that day. But for the most part, like my everyday highlight, I just take, again, that powder brush from e.l.f. and I just put it on here. It's kind of like a natural, more like natural highlight, I guess. I don't know, I really like it. And I put it up here on my brow bone, and then on my nose, and on my lips, then a little bit on my chin. And then I just wipe it in the lid a little bit, and I take whatever excess and just wipe under my eyes, just like that. And it's kind of hard to tell. I feel like it's hard to tell the effect it has on camera, but it's more of like a natural highlight, so I really like it. All right, next up is brows. I do have a couple different ways, literally just 2 different ways that I do brows, but for the most part, for my everyday makeup routine, I use the Benefit Gimme Brow. I think I'm shade 3, but I don't know how accurate that is. And I don't really have a brow routine, guys. Just kind of brush it on, and I don't know, I kind of just make them a little bit darker than they already are. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm fooling myself. I don't do a whole lot to my eyebrows because I don't really feel like I need to. And up close it probably looks terrible, but I feel like having some gaps in your eyebrow just like, I don't know, it looks more natural than having every single thing filled in. I'm definitely not a fan of the painted on eyebrow look. Oops, clearly, I don't know. This is just how I do my brows. And I need to probably break open my backup one of these because it's kind of running low, I think. Sometimes if they're really bothering me, I'll use my Maybelline Color Tattoo, but it's in like this taupey color. I have like this little brow brush and I'll just dip it in there if it's really bothering me. And I like that this is a like 24-hour, and so it'll stay. I usually don't take this much time to do my brows, quite honestly. So at this point, I would say we are mostly done. Pretty much now, all that's left to do is the eyes. Go away, Fuzz. And for the eyes, my everyday palette that I always use is my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. And you can tell that I've used it and I've loved it for a really long time. This is also one of those things that I bought because I was doing my own wedding makeup, and I've just fallen in love with it. So I did get a new palette, this Tartelette and Bloom palette, which I've been testing out, but it's still not like my everyday makeup palette. This is what I use most of the time and I love it. So there's only a couple of eyeshadow brushes that I use, and 2 of them are actually the same. So they're just these little eyeshadow brushes. They're pretty thick, pretty fluffy, and I use one for like lighter shadows and one for like darker shadows, I guess. I just really like this brush. So the first thing I always do is take white chocolate here. I use this white chocolate color as an all over color on my lid, kind of like a base. Oh, I forgot. Then I go in with milk chocolate here to kind of put a little bit of color on my crease. Next I go in with this semi-sweet color to deepen the crease just a little bit. And then on my lid I do one of these colors. I use this Milani eye primer before I put on my eyeshadow, but I just do it like mostly on the lid right here. Just tap it a little bit. This is not something I do if I'm in a rush, but if I have the extra 30 seconds, I will just throw it on. It doesn't even take 30 seconds. Now I can go in. And this doesn't do too much of a difference, but the beauty YouTubers tell me it helps me blend my eyeshadow better, so I do it. And the bonus part is it actually does taste like chocolate. Okay, now I'm going in with my other brush that I use in my milk chocolate color, and I'm just putting this kind of like above my crease and a little bit in my crease. And then I will go into my semi-sweet color right here, and same brush, same technique, just putting it on top. Just to add a little bit more dimension. And then after I have like a sweep of that color, I will take this brush. It is by Tarte. It came with like a palette that I got from them. I don't know what the brush is, but it's like this two-sided brush. So this one has like a fluffy tip, and this one has more of like a rounded, flatter tip, I guess. And I'm just gonna take semi-sweet again and tap it on and just pack it a little bit in my outer corner just to get a little bit more intensity from it. Some days I will go in with another color. So sometimes I do Black Forest, sometimes I do this one to just add a little bit more to the outside, but this is my everyday look, and this is about as far as I go with that crease color. For the actual lid, a lot of times I'll just do this creme brulee shade right here. It's kind of like a shimmery, light, bronzy color. Sometimes I'll go in and use my L'Oreal Infallibles and put that all over the lid, but like I said, most of the time I just grab what's in my palette with my finger and just pack it on the lid, because everybody knows that's where you get the best color. And I have this down to a science. I can do all of this pretty quickly when I'm not trying to talk myself or someone else through it. And then back into semi-sweet. So after that, I usually go on the bottom, and I tend to use, again, semi-sweet on the bottom. I like darker colors on the bottom because there's shadows under there and lighter colors don't pick up as much. And then what I do is I kind of like connect it back up to the top a little bit, so it kind of like goes, I don't know. A lot of times what I'll do now is dip back into that white chocolate color and just kind of blend the top just a little bit to make sure it all melds together. And for my highlighting shade, I take Champagne Truffle, just a little bit on the tip of my brush, and pop it right under the eyebrow. I don't pick up a lot usually, you just need a little bit. And then for my inner corner highlight, I do like to use Champagne Truffle, but I also really like to use my L'Oreal Infallible, and that's really what I do on an everyday basis. So, and you can tell I've used this baby. So I usually just take my pinky, so professional, and pop it in my inner corner. But I just think it is so stunning. So right now it looks like I did a pretty good job of not getting any fallout under my eyes, but most of the time I do. So I just take that fluffy brush again, go right underneath. Now I take this little, it's like a smudge. This is called a smudge brush, I think. And it's just like this little brush. Again, it's from e.l.f. It's from their like way cheaper line. And I do kind of like a smoked out wing, I guess is what I do. And for this, I just go into, I think it's called triple fudge right here. And I kind of just smush it in, tap it off, and I don't like to use like black eyeliner because I'm not good at it. I'd rather just go for like the fake smoked out wing look. And I do this because it doesn't need to be perfect. And I can pack on the color as much as I want. This is usually what we end up working with. I do curl my eyelashes. Curling my eyelashes is something I do every single day, like without fail. No matter how much of a rush I'm in, I curl my eyelashes. I feel like this makes such a difference in like how they look. I think it just really opens up your eyes, opens up your face, and I never leave the house without curling my eyelashes. So everything is done now except for mascara, and I really did love the Lash Paradise for a long time, but I've honestly gone back to this CoverGirl Supersizer mascara. I've gone through probably like 4 or 5 of these, and this one is honestly running low, so I do start right at the base. I push and I like wiggle it out. And like I said, this is running out. Normally it's a lot easier. And then I always pull these a little bit more out. It's really hard to put on mascara and get it in the frame of the camera. And now for my bottom, I just do these very lightly usually. I don't put a lot. I used to not put any on my bottom lashes at all. Again, in high school, best makeup decisions ever. But then I learned that it kind of just makes your eyes look a little bit bigger when you put mascara on the top and bottom and eyeshadow on the top and bottom. I have really dark circles, as you saw. So I never put anything on the bottom because I didn't want the darkness to show, so I would just pack concealer and powder and like nothing on the bottom lid, and my makeup looks so much better now. Got a little mascara up there somehow, a little bit right there. I know people use Q-tips, I just use whatever I have to kind of get it off. Okay, so we're pretty much finished. Again, I feel like this is like washing me out a little bit. You can't really see what it looks like. Maybe it's just what it looks like in the viewfinder. And then of course the very last step is lipstick. I do have a ton of like the liquid lipstick type deals, but most of the time if I'm going to school, I'll just use like a plain lipstick, and I really like the Revlon lipstick. So this one is Paradise, and sometimes I'll put on lip liners, but if I'm going to school, nope. Usually when I'm going to school, I won't put on lipstick till after I eat my breakfast. I tend to eat my breakfast at school most days, which I would really like to change that, but you know, that's just how it is right now. But this is my finished look. I do rotate between a ton of different lipsticks. Some days I just wear chapsticks, but I thought it'd be fun to put on lipstick for this. So this is my kind of everyday routine that I do. I think usually it probably takes about 20 minutes start to finish when I'm not talking someone through it and trying to work on camera angles and things like that. But let me know what you guys think. What are products that you use every single day that you love? Is there anything that you saw in my video that you don't normally use that you'd like to try? I love doing makeup. Makeup is something I've loved to do for a really long time. I'm not a professional, but I think it always turns out pretty good. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed watching my everyday makeup routine. Remember, you guys can always reach me here on YouTube. I respond to every single comment still. I try my best to interact with you guys as much as possible, but I am more active over on Instagram. So my Instagram is at MissCallsCampers. If you guys are not following me there yet, make sure if you're not subscribed, I hope you consider pressing that red subscribe button down below. We'd love to make you part of our family. I will be doing a like 5-minute makeup routine for when I'm in a rush, so that is to come. If there's anything else that you'd like to see from me, go ahead and comment down below. I'd love to know what you want to see. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.